one of these days we could talk. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's see. Gonna go ahead and record to the cloud. All right. Hi, this is Richard Roop, and we're doing a coaching call today. This is open Q&A. You guys got some deals to work on, we can do that. We can talk about anything related to growing your real estate business, making more money, generating more leads, converting some of your leads into deals now, leveraging yourself, getting unstuck. In fact, we're doing a special Ultimate Training webinar Monday night with Willie Hooks, Coach Mark Hoffman, and Willie's going to do a special presentation on, I don't know, on the mental mindset. He's like, we call him Yoda, you know, and so that I'm trying to get the details on what he's going to cover, and I'll announce that at, you know, if you're signed up at richardroop.com or repodia.com, we'll get you on that call Monday night. So thanks for joining me, you guys. Who wants to go first? Just go ahead and unmute your mic, and then ask me anything you want me to cover. All right, I'm gonna go eat lunch. Okay. All right, who has come to the table, wants to talk about their business? This is a great opportunity. Who's gonna go first?
Richard.
Will.
Mark talked about getting the free lead, I think 5,000 from with, if you go the Gavin thing with the I forget the name of the company, but I wrote it down. Is there, besides that, the free sign up on that, is there something else? Is there other venues like that lead generating thing that give you free leads?
Well, why do you want, okay, yeah, we can talk about that. Why do you want free leads?
Because it's financially advanced at this situation. Yeah.
Well, it depends on the leads, right? And what you do with them. Okay.
Right.
So 5,000 free leads, what is the description of these leads?
Well, I haven't gone into the website, so supposedly you can scroll down. I mean, you can fine tune who you are looking for. And so far as there's certain things that you can kind of come into and look in a particular area. That are they owner occupied?
So maybe access to the 150 million records that most lead provider services have access to, and you can sort through for property owners and certain zip codes with certain criteria.
Right. Correct.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's very similar to maybe like, listability.com/Roop, where we get some leads. A lot of the service providers that offer that type of data, it's all the same data. So sometimes it's how you can sift and sort through that data. There's some premium data. Okay, there's some premium data. That's why I want to talk to you about what are you going to do with the leads, right? Because depending on what you're going to do to it, I would rather hit 500 of the highest quality leads versus 5,000 of, common leads. Okay. But if that's the criteria, yeah, you can definitely get a workable list. So yeah, tell me later what, where that offer is that Mark sent you to. But
yeah, well, I'll have to look it up. I wrote it down someplace.
Yeah. So, okay. So again, so what are you going to, so you get some, so what type of list would you pull, and what are you going to do with it?
Absentee owners, vacants and stuff like that. What you advise, just use that list that he talked about, and then use the criteria that you have put out forward about to get someone to, raise their hand and say, hey, I want to do business with you. That's the way I want to use it for. So maybe do a postcard to them, or, the $1 million postcard.
Okay. Have you ever mailed out the $1 million postcards?
No, I have not. No.
Okay. You're actually talking about maybe the magic bullet postcard, right?
That's it. Yes, you're correct. Well, it's your product. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I got kicked off. Are you guys there? You there,
Yeah.
Will?
Yeah,
Okay.
still here. I was like, I
Okay.
couldn't know what happened. I was like, screen went blank, and then all of a sudden Wayne came up, and then like, okay,
Yeah. I should,
technology is wonderful when it works.
yeah, yeah. All right. So you're probably talking about the magic bullet postcard where we merge their name and address into the postcard, right? Small postcard.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because when I think $1 million postcard, yeah, I call that $1 million postcards, but I also have an oversized postcard that we use. So yeah, I recommend the magic bullet postcard. And then, so what it's going to do is going to get people calling you, asking you, how does this work? That type of thing, right?
Right.
Okay. And then are you prepared to take those calls?
Yeah. I think, just have them call, excuse me, I'd have them call my number, but maybe have a local number. I have a number, my cell phone number is from the East Bay in San Francisco. Should I do one more of use a Google or whatever locally Seattle thing number?
Okay. So you're in Northern California and you're marketing to Seattle?
No, my phone number is originally from Northern California.
Okay.
I live in the Seattle area. So my phone number, if I use direct call in, would be
Yeah.
California number. So what's your recommendation to go to a local number?
I recommend you have it. Yeah, I recommend you have a local number. What I do is I have an account with REI Black Book,
Okay.
and I get 10 phone numbers. Okay. So
Okay.
I have a call-in number for 3 different area codes. So one in Oklahoma, just across the border, one in northern Texas, and then there's another one up here in northern Texas. So depending on where I'm marketing to, yeah, I want to have that local number area code. So that is good. Okay. So, but I have more than one per area. So I have a number that sellers are told, hey, if you want to talk to me, call me at this number. And they're expecting you to answer the phone or get your voicemail. Okay.
Right.
But I also have another number, which is a free recorded message line. So I'll have 2 numbers in an area code. So one is if you want to hear information 24/7, learn how we might be able to help you, then call this number. But if you want to talk to me, call this number, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So when you have like 10 numbers with REI Black Book, I haven't used them all up yet. And then of course you can also have numbers when you're marketing properties and you're building your buyers list, that type of thing. Okay. So do you have a website to drive them to? You're muted, Will.
No, not yet.
Okay. So you'll definitely want to have a recorded message line then. Okay.
Yes.
Now you have the free and clear cache machine, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in there is, my free recorded message line script. Okay. And you can also kind of just go off of the magic bullet postcard as a script, that type of thing.
Okay.
But of course, but they have the postcard. They have the postcard. So you could just remind them what you just told them on the postcard. That's not a problem. If you wanted to give them more information, then you'd go into one of the free special reports. But yeah, take a look at that script, and it was done before the magic bullet postcard. So maybe mesh those together. I'm going to have some new tools during my boot camp next month in Florida. Are you going to that, Will?
I can't physically go. Well, I don't know if you were going to do the broadcast. I signed up for the there was a special intro offer to sign up. I signed up for that, but I don't think it's possible for me to travel yet because of the stroke.
Okay.
I got
Okay,
physical limitations. That's the only like I talked to you before about maybe, streaming it, whatever, but I don't know what's happening in your end.
Yeah, I have a quote from the guy who's going to videotape it.
Right.
Okay. So we are going to videotape it, and he just added, okay, here's what it's going to take to live stream it, right? And I haven't
Right.
looked at that quote yet. I the best thing to do if anybody wants to go is to go. So I don't want to really announce it to everybody that we might do a live stream. That would prevent them from going if they could, because
Right.
that is the best way to, get
Go
the most
live.
out of it.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So, you'll want to update your postcard with you're going to take the call, so it'll be your name. Now, do you operate with a company name?
No. I mean,
Okay.
no.
Okay. So what we're going to do going forward is we're going to set you up to give you more credibility. Okay. It's not required. Okay. You don't even have to mail postcards. You can take this list and get phone numbers and call them, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that unless you really spent some money to narrow down that list. So it would be worth cold calling. Okay. So it's got to be a very targeted list.
Yes.
All right. So what you want to do is you want to get them to respond. Now, in that postcard, we offer a free special report. And do you have that report modified, updated, and ready to go out? Either email it to them or, because sometimes you can have it on your website. But if you don't have a website yet, okay, because I think you should have a minimum. You should set up a minimum website because I think you should operate this as a business, not as a hobby, not as like a money-making opportunity, but as a business. And the way to get more deals accepted and get better response from people that do call you is to create some credibility online, be reachable, let people, go to your website, get more information 24/7. Okay. All right. I got kicked off again.
Again.
All right. So without a website, you have that free recorded message line, be able to answer that phone, and then you'll want a return address on your postcard. So you're concerned about the area code. What return address would the returns from your postcard, where's that going to go?
That's a great question. If you come here locally, I guess, where I live in Gold Bar, Washington, or.
Oh, okay. Okay. So is that your home?
Yeah.
Okay. That would be okay on this mailing. Okay. But going forward, I would set up a mail drop, a FedEx store, some type of physical address.
UPS, FedEx.
The FedEx store. Say that again.
FedEx, UPS, yeah.
Yeah. We're in this new world where we're actually going to say, here's my address, but by the way, this is a virtual address. We work virtually, and people are going to be okay with that. They'll understand that, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to hide it. We don't have to pretend like we have an office. And I don't think you should go out and get an office ever.
No, it's a waste. I did that when I was in another profession.
Oh man, I bought a commercial building for my staff in 2006, just before the market meltdown, right?
Right.
But about a year after I built and remodeled this office building, all my staff went virtual.
Wow. That's nice kick in the head.
So then can I turn this into executive suites, that type of thing. I eventually sold it to my title company. So they're still there now. But I think nobody really needs a live office unless it's going to help you make more money. Right. And what it does is it creates overhead. And if you have staff, it's like they have to travel there, be there. So if you're collaborating and working and it's more effective that way, that's great. But I think people can really be really effective these days having virtual staff, outsourcing, having independent contractors. You can have employees. Now we're talking about scaling, right? So as far as talking to sellers, it's like you'll want to set up and plan, how are you going to make these offers, right? How are you going to meet with them? Because what you want to do is you want to meet with the sellers that respond, okay? So when you send out your postcards or you do any type of marketing where the sellers are calling you, your intention is to gather all their property information, let them know you're going to work on it, you're going to do some research, and the next step is let's get together. Now that's going to be on the phone, like on the phone or on Zoom, right?
Right.
Or it's going to be at the property, or it's going to be at Starbucks or something. But you want to, when you get those leads coming in, schedule the next meeting. And in these days, it can be, the next meeting might be just a phone call, right? But I'd also set up so that you give them the option of doing a Zoom, because if you can do a Zoom, the best thing to do to build trust and rapport is to meet with them. And if you can't, then do a video conference. And if you can't, just do a phone call.
Right.
And if you can't, then you just email and text back, that type of thing, right? But obviously, if people are emailing, some people will want to email and text back and communicate that way, but then you want to give them a reason to get you on the phone. Because I will deal with the seller that way if that's how they want to deal. So you say you get these leads, mail out the postcards. See, you need to go ahead in module 2 of the free and clear cash machine. It talks about getting all this kind of stuff set up. Company name, you don't need one, right? But later you might go ahead and market yourself as a professional house buyer. You can market yourself as a mom and pop, that's fine. You need that mailing address. You got to decide on that. And then later I think when you're doing volume, Will, as we grow, you don't want people just showing up at your house unannounced, right?
No.
Okay, unless you're in a gated community or something, you can maybe do that. All right. And then the phone number. I want you to establish a phone number for each area code. So right now you just have one, right?
Correct. My cell phone. Yeah. It's in. Yeah.
Now I can recommend, REI Black Book, just, use them. But if you don't, there's other ways you can get phone numbers. And of course, like you said, you can go ahead and get a Google number, right?
Yeah.
A Google Voice number. And then just be prepared to understand how you check your messages and how you call people back and how you manage that. But yeah, you can go ahead and set that up and use that. But later, you want to establish a number that's going to be long-term. So it could be a Google number, because when you send postcards, you'll get calls later down the road, years down the road, okay? Especially when we tell them to keep this card if you're not ready. All right, so that's what I was saying. Are you ready? I'm trying to think if is there anything else on that postcard. That free special report. I would offer some type of lead magnet. This right here, I don't know if you guys, I'll go on speaker view here. Can you see this?
I can.
Okay. This is what I put on letters. I'm about to mail out about 150 letters. It's my new $100 bill letter. And I'm going to be teaching that at the boot camp. It's pretty exciting. So I have a good supply here. But you want to offer a lead magnet in your reports or in your marketing. So in this case, it would be a free special report on, how to sell your house, for top dollar on the date of your choice, right? And
Correct. Yeah.
You have that report. It says how to sell your home quickly, for a fair price. Change that to top dollar because you're using the ultimate strategy. Anybody that can get creative on some equity should be advertising top dollar, because you can pay top dollar on houses that have equity. You don't even have to be an expert at it. Okay. And and that will give you a kind of an advantage. A lot of people just say, I'll pay, all cash, or I'll pay a fair price and all that. What you really need is those people, because your market's kind of hot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I would, when you go target your list, go to the more outlying areas, the less dense areas. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But unfortunately, right here, even here in this town that I'm in, Gold Bar, which is the Cascades, it's like things are like through the roof. I mean,
but here's the deal: you're not going to get, you're going to have to spend more money generating leads from direct mailing to just a general list like you're talking about. Okay.
right. The name of the outfit was batchleads.com.
Okay, batchleads.com.
Well, batchleads.io/Gavin. Gavin.
Oh yeah,
Tim.
Gavin's.
Gavin
Okay.
Timms. Mark had mentioned that at the last time I was on.
All right. Well, good. Well, good for Gavin. He's going to get, if you ever decide to be a customer, he'll get credit for it. Yeah, batch leads. I have not used them. I do want to check them out. And so they give you. I do know that they do the phone numbers and the skip tracing, right?
Correct. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you about that.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can narrow it down, like with the absentee owner, absentee, blah, all the different categories, empty, vacant properties. And
well, here's the deal. You want to go ahead and narrow it down to what you want to own and where. But number one, I'd be willing. I would suggest, and this is what I'm doing. I'm going 90 minutes in every direction, just so that I have better results. Okay.
Okay.
So selecting your zip codes is important. That's why part of that marketing, the boot camp enrollment includes a marketing plan review type of thing. But we can talk about it right now is, selecting some farm areas where there's less competition. Otherwise, I'm going to be teaching I don't know if you were on one of my Saturday trainings where I talked about lead scoring, using artificial intelligence to score these properties, these owners in an area, and then hit the best 10% of it. Okay. So it's like a credit score between 0 and 1,000. And what's the likelihood of this property going on the market in 90 days? Well, based on all this billions of pieces of data, it identifies it scores it, and then you can hit everybody over 800 between 0 and 1,000, or everybody over 900. I do the top 20%. That costs more money to get the leads. That's why when you said you get free leads, that's not there. It depends on, if you don't make any money, if you're just getting general leads in a hot market, then you really have to target geographically. Okay. And you also want to never just mail someone once. What you want to do is have a plan to at least hit them every 3 months. Right.
Right.
Okay. A very targeted list, you want to hit them every couple of weeks in the beginning, depending on if they already have if they have a house for sale, right? Like if they're FSBOs or expired listings or something where they have a house for sale. For you, you're looking for motivation, but guess what? Every investor out there is looking for motivated sellers. I think your advantage is going after unmotivated sellers using some of the strategies that I'm going to be sharing in October. But basically, you can do that by being more targeted in your list selection, and then hitting that area over and over, and having good lead magnets, and having a good website, and a good lead magnet, and a good call handling system, and all that. I mean, all these pieces make a difference in your results as far as getting deals closed.
Right.
So, you said you get 5,000 leads. How much would you plan on spending on that?
5,000 are free first, and there's
so
you get 5,000 property records for free if you use the name Gavin. So it's a 7-day free trial. Mark said as soon as you get the leads, cancel it, because it's 7 days. And as time goes, it's just like boom, all of a sudden so I don't know what to.
Well, yeah. I use a virtual credit card on those things, but then, yeah, you definitely want to sign, you go ahead and test it and find out the value, and then, yeah, you can go ahead and sign up.
Right.
But yeah, you'll forget about those 7 days. But if they're doing a good job, if you like the system, and I've heard good things about them, right? But you got to be utilizing it. You can't just
just
you got to be aware.
Get it.
You got to be aware of the shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, I'm victim of that.
It's just a little shiny object. Because it's like, yeah, you got to stay focused. So that's why when you ask me, should I get these free leads? The question is, what are you going to do with them? So I think you should lay out your whole plan, put all that together, then go ahead and get your leads. And yeah, but how many are you going to mail to?
It depends, like, because I'm going to go, I want to be in that particular area for all the outlying areas. And then there's categories that they have: vacant properties, behind in taxes, pre-foreclosures, and they can verify the records. But
well, let's assume you can narrow that down to 5,000 records. If you send out postcards, just budget 50 cents a card. Okay, that's $2,500. Are you looking to drop $2,500 or less than that?
Less than that.
Okay, how much?
I mean, what do you think is, with all your experience, how much do you need to, because there's John, he had spent a bunch of money and hasn't gotten any results yet. But the thing is, do you need to does the list have to be focused and keep on hitting them every couple of weeks, or just depends on what the criteria is on the list?
Okay, well, I think John's on the line. John had, so we already talked about this on other calls. He had a bunch of leads that he wasn't following up on. Okay.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Okay, but there's also, so that's why I'm trying to get you prepared to handle the leads appropriately. Get the most response and then handle the leads. I say, and I've been saying this for a while, you got to spend for like direct mail, you should be spending like $1,500 to $2,500 to get enough leads in order to do a deal. Okay. But what's the definition of a deal? To me, a deal is a property that you actually buy. Okay. You could get a contract and flip it for 5 or 10 or 15 grand, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. But I want you to make 75 to 100 to 150 grand on buying a high equity property using the ultimate strategy. But I want you to do whatever it takes, because Valeria, on her first deal, she got 25 grand flipping a contract on some land from her postcards, right?
Wow.
Well, that paid for her marketing for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Now she's in a hot market. You're in a hot market. So that $2,500, I would spend at least $1,500, right, to $2,500, and then it's going to take 3 months. It depends on how, if you drop all $2,500, 5,000 postcards, right? If you do that, it might take a couple months in order to get the deal closed.
Right.
Right.
True.
So if you take those 5,000 and you mail, okay, I'll mail, 700 and then 700 and then 700, right? $700 a month.
Right.
For 3 months.
Right.
Then it's going to take you 3 months to get enough,
yeah, in the system,
volume.
Get it going. Yeah.
And then there's that trickle in, to get them closed. So you can always, scrape a deal out of the first, batch of calls. But 2 to 3 times of most of your business, more than half, is going to come from the follow-up.
Yes.
So you might. All right. So I think, okay, so 5,000 postcards is, if we got a 1% response, right, that's 50 calls. If we got a 0.5%, that's 25 calls. So my goal, I think, if you got 25 calls, there's a deal there, right? I think you gotta, usually you want to generate 30 calls. You want to make about 10 offers, 10 or 12 offers, and then you want to get one of those accepted on the front end. and
Right.
then another one at least on the follow-up. So yeah, I would budget at least 1,500 and get that out as soon as possible.
Okay.
And go ahead and set. Do you know where you're going to mail your postcards through? Are you using iNet USA?
I'm going to use iNet. Yes.
Okay, because you can create your own on Click to Mail, right? Or use iNet. So if you're going to use iNet, email them the information, let them know you want to drop this card. But do you know what? And then I add me to the email so I can, I'll help you out.
Okay.
But how much would you be dropping on your first mailing?
I was thinking 1,000 pieces off the bat.
All right, that's 500. So like $500. It's more like $400, between $400 and $500.
Okay.
Yeah. What you do with iNet, you send them your list,
Yeah.
and they'll run it through their processes, and then they'll give you a proof on your postcard, because you got to tell them what to put on the postcard, what to change, right? And then they'll give you a quote, and it's usually between it's like 42 cents or something like that. Okay, so
they do have your $1 million postcard, don't they? Or the
they have the Magic Bullet postcard all set up.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I keep
You
on
just
calling
say,
$1 million. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Magic Bullet. Roop's card. They got one card. It's the Magic Bullet. That's the only one we really. I'm trying to get some changes that are going to affect the the housing markets and all that. And as real estate investors, it's a huge opportunity for us. But it's the perfect time to start buying houses and to get everything set up so that you can start buying houses right away. Okay, and if you're buying houses already, buy more. Improve your marketing response, your lead flow, your deal flow, your ability to structure offers that get accepted. Do all that now and start buying more houses now. And then you're going to be in a great position where there's going to be a lot of sellers and buyers and tenants that are going to have trouble, solving their housing problems. And that's what we do as real estate entrepreneurs, is we help the sellers, we help the buyers, and we help the tenants. So your marketing, Will, in Seattle area, sellers are not going to respond if they can easily sell their house. The biggest reason why people don't want to sell their house themselves or list it with an agent or whatever is they don't want to market it. Realize that, okay? So I know a lot of people try and use this list criteria to find motivated sellers. I'd go ahead and do that, but I would make it very inviting for anybody to respond. That's what we do with the Magic Boat postcard. So if they're thinking about selling, we want to talk to them, and we want to build that trust and rapport so they can actually open up and tell us the real reason why they called. Because a lot of times they call and say, "Oh, I can sell anytime. I don't have any trouble. I don't have any needs. I don't have any problems." And that's why if you have marketing that says I can solve your problem, a lot of people that you could potentially do business with won't respond because they don't want to admit they have a problem, or they don't think they have a problem. And even if they don't have a problem, if you build that relationship, they'll sell to you because they don't want to put it on the market. They don't want to clean it. They don't want to show it. They don't want to deal with that uncertainty. There's all these benefits that we can offer that's in the card. Plus, sell whenever they want, take over their existing tenants. So you said you're going to go to absentee owners, right?
Well, I was thinking that, yes. I mean, do you think there's a better criteria?
No, I would go ahead and do that. Okay. But it is kind of saturated. Is there investors in your area that you're going to be mailing to?
I don't know them offhand.
Right.
A lot of people, a friend of mine who was a realtor here in the Seattle area, he wants, like, everybody's moving to Idaho or Texas. They're either leaving California or Washington State because of the lunacy in these governments. And So people are wanting to move to Boise. His brother already moved to Coeur d'Alene. He wants to move to Boise or Coeur d'Alene himself. So there's a lot of people willing to move. So it's difficult. Like there's so much movement in the markets, so much change because of what's going on. And
that is true. That's called migration. I've been studying that for over 30 years. Where do people migrate to based on what's going on in the world? And right now, people are migrating to these more rural areas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they want more. They want more natural beauty. They want more freedom. They want to be able to, they can work from home sometimes. They don't have to commute as much. Right.
Right.
They want more for their money. So that's been a long-term trend, and that's accelerating, especially now in this virtual world. Okay. And that is, so we could speak to that in our marketing, but we really just want to better is if we can identify with this artificial intelligence, identify those people that are thinking about getting out of there, right?
Right.
But then saying the same thing, if you want to sell your house, give us a call, right?
Yeah.
The best advantage would be to target those people that no one else is targeting. Okay. But if you do, the only way to find out if your market's oversaturated with an absentee owner list, with vacants, and whatever criteria you put in there, is to test it. You do have the advantage of having a much better marketing piece. Okay.
Yes.
Because we've gotten that feedback. Hey, I got 11 cards and I called yours because I liked yours, right? I just don't want to go where there's 11 cards. But but I'm all based on results. If it's working, great. So another thing in a hot market is you can actually maybe don't need 30 leads to do a deal or 12 offers, right? In hot markets, sometimes we close 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 sellers that we make offers to. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So what happens is you get less response, but the fact that they have so many other options and they called you, they are more motivated, right? And they are more flexible. And as long as you take care of those leads, that's the number one most important thing, is you're spending all this money to generate leads. Take care of them. You're going to buy their house now or later or not, but you've created a contact. So you're going to buy their house now, or you're going to buy it next month, or you're going to buy it next year, or they're going to buy one of your houses, they're going to fund your deals, or they're going to send you referrals. Getting as many sellers to respond, whether they're motivated or not, build your in-house list, which is your number one list that you want to market to. And it's not just automated marketing. It's like pick up the phone and, follow up with people. The highest and best use of your time is to be talking with sellers who want to sell. Now, so everybody says they need to sell. No, if they want to sell, you should be talking to them. Okay. Again, these if you're trying to do everything, based on price, like a lot of people are wholesalers and they're just, trying to get people to take, find someone who's motivated enough to take a discount. Okay.
Huge discount,
and then,
usually.
In fact, that's how you can get some free leads. Will, go ahead and network with some wholesalers and joint venture with them. Yeah. And go ahead and just follow up on their unconverted leads.
Gotcha.
Now, in order to do that, you got to be prepared to talk to the seller, right? Fill out the property information sheet, right? Send them a credibility pack with that free special report, information about you and your company. So that's something you probably haven't put together yet, right, Will? Kind of some information. Okay. So I would put that together. So the best practice is, as soon as you get a call from a seller, you set up the next appointment, but you also drop in the mail a credibility pack. Worst case is at least you email it to them, right?
Right.
If I'm setting up some systems, so once you have your credibility kit put together, you can just send an email to the mail house, INET, right? And they have it all ready to go, and they just drop it.
In the mail.
Because then it'll get done if it's quick and easy. And if you don't do it, it's okay. It's just it's just if you can set up a little system like that, you know, for the dollar it takes to drop that credibility kit in the mail, you know, it just is a huge advantage. Combining this online and offline marketing with multiple hits through automation and through personal follow-up is very powerful. It's called omni-channel marketing. And I'm putting together some systems I'll talk about in October, where here's all these opportunities and here's how we just pull them all together into a very powerful system. And then I'll try and do whatever I can for you, like have that set up so you don't have to do the individual stuff. Is that helpful, Will?
Huge, huge. Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome. Let me know what else you need on that, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
All right. Okay, I did not get kicked off again. Cool. All right, anybody who wants to talk to me, this is open Q&A. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and announce your name. All right. Anybody else have some questions about that they want anything related to achieving your financial goals with your real estate investing, solving challenges, taking it to the next level? I have been not looking at the chat. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so this is kind of open Q&A, and we just go until I take care of everybody. Was that helpful to go through my best practices for Will to set up his mailing? Was that useful?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so we have a lot of flies on the wall. Who wants to talk to me? Go ahead and unmute yourself and announce your name.
Thank you, Richard. Hey, when is this recorded to be posted to the site?
Yeah, it goes to the Inner Circle support site.
Okay.
Yeah, so it will go into it should you're in the Inner Circle, so if you don't know where to get that, just shoot me an email and I'll send you the link.
Okay. Thank you.
I should probably go ahead and start doing some regular announcements. Or at least let people know they can always just go there and find the replays. All right. Okay. Anybody else want to raise their hands to put something in the chat? Okay, it says, okay, I got some chat here. Go to my chat. How do I find chat? Okay, I don't have audio. I'm having hard getting people to accept my offer. Sometimes I come in too low based on comps, but people want retail. I try to explain to them using comps what their home would qualify for. All right, so that is from Tiana. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, Tiana. All right, well, Tiana, I would recommend use maybe if you want a competitive advantage, go ahead and offer them retail, okay? And the way to do that is if they have equity, have them wait for some of their equity, you know, for a short period of time or a long period of time. The longer they wait before you have to pay them that, the higher you can pay on the property. And that's why a lot of our marketing, if we're transaction engineers, we can say, hey, look, we can pay you top dollar. We can. That's some of the marketing tools I'm putting together right now is basically it's very fun stuff. We're basically telling them that we will pay full value for the house. Okay. So, and one way to do that is, let me go ahead and I'll share my screen here. I'm going to go to the internet, and I'm going to go over here to Repodia.com, and I'm going to click on categories, and then I'm going to go down here to free. And then if you have not gone through this yet, go through this program, How to Make $72,000 Buying for Top Dollar. this kind of walks you through the basics of how to structure offers in a simple kind of a overall way to offer more money. In fact, I'm putting together some guarantees that where I will give this $100 bill, right, to any seller who sells their house for more money than I offer them. That's one of my things that I'm going to start doing. So you can go to Rapodia.com. Actually, let me go back there. And I'm going to take this link. Actually, I'll just go here, view course. I'll take that link. And I'll just put it, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. And see chat. Now I would love to talk to you about that. If anybody wants to talk to but her audio's not working. So
yeah, I had to switch from my computer to my cell phone.
Oh, okay, good.
How are you, Richard? Good to see you again. I was in Tampa with you.
Oh, last year or when?
In April, the Hero Summit.
Oh, that was in Key West.
Yeah, I meant to say Key West. Sorry, my girlfriend lives in Tampa. Yeah.
How are you? Good.
I'm very well, thank you.
Wait, your audio's breaking up a little bit. Say that again. Your audio's breaking up. Let me see if I can do something on my end.
Flooring and bathrooms and things like that. So I'm under the impression that they get a lower value, like the as is, versus high end 2021 standards.
Okay. Well, I just caught the last end of that because maybe since you're on the video, go ahead and turn your video off, okay? And then we'll have better audio. And I need you to repeat what you just said because we have a bad connection. Uh-oh, did we lose her? We lost her.
Might be trying to call back in with just audio.
Yeah, hopefully she jumps back on. While we're waiting for her, any other questions, or does anybody know what she was asking?
Yeah, I was actually just looking at that $72,000 offer program that you were showing just before the call started. That's a good one.
Well, yeah, it requires, okay, here's the deal. Even if someone has no equity, you can still offer top dollar. And I rather not do that, but you can do it. It's like I can pay you. So if I advertise that I can pay full market value, right? And what if they owe full market value and they don't have, and I can't create any cash flow because they have a bad loan or a high interest rate loan, right? Because I'll pay full market value if I can get in with no money down and I create a positive cash flow, all right? And I can get it occupied as is by maybe doing some offering sweat equity or something like that. But in the worst case, I can pay full market value. It would be taking over their loan and them actually, paying down the loan a little bit. That's like the worst case scenario. What I'd rather do is target people that have equity so I can always offer full market value. In fact, if you understand the ultimate strategy, we offer more than full market value. If you advertise that, people won't believe it. So what you want to do when you're advertising is explain why you can. And we do this on the Magic Boat postcard. We do say that we'll pay more than any other buyer, okay? And the reason is because of our long-term buy and hold approach, which means when we're talking to the seller and we're showing, and after we've structured what we can do, say, look, if you're going to wait a while for your money, then we can pay you this higher price. And that all makes sense to what we originally told them. Because of our long-term buy and hold approach, we can pay top dollar, which is true. All right, so Tiana did not come back in, or did she? She did not. All right, what other questions you guys got? Go ahead and unmute yourself, or anything on what I just said. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Otherwise, we'll just go until we take care of everybody, and we'll end the call. Any other questions? Anybody else wants to talk to me today about their real estate business?
If you decide to do that virtual event, that's the part I was interested in, would be I should probably just call you or text you or something but yeah, if you decide you want to do that live streaming one, that's what I would be interested in.
Yeah, I will. I'll probably be able to confirm that by the end of next week or so. If that's going to be the case, we're definitely going to record it, right? So I'm going to give people an opportunity to, well, people have an opportunity right now to sign up and not attend. They should, because I haven't advertised that you're going to get the recording, but yeah, if you sign up and don't attend, you'll get a recording of the event, but you'll get a ticket to next year, like November 2022. I'm planning on doing the event again. It'll be a whole different event by then, okay? But you'll have a ticket to that. So sign up for this event, grab those bonuses before they expire. Yeah, if you don't attend, I will get you a recording of the event. And will we be able to live stream it? I have to double check on that quote I just got from Chris. I haven't checked that out. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on that, Wayne. I'll announce it. But yeah, if you wanted to sign up for the event, then you would get a recording of the event. You would get the operations manual, and you'll get the support, and you're going to get all the benefits of being there live, which there are some things I'm going to announce during the event that is kind of like for the people there, and then it won't be announced to anybody else, until after next year, some big stuff. So you would be involved in that. But yeah, otherwise you can just wait until I update you on that. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Any other questions? I appreciate you guys joining me today. John's on the line. John went ahead and did another mailing, a very special mailing. I was wondering if he's gonna, well, it might not hit yet. I'm interested.
Hey, Richard, it's John.
Hey, John. So I know you were anxious to pull the trigger on that. So, okay.
I did.
How many did you mail?
I mailed 200.
200. Okay.
Because I was generating the list by hand, and so it was taking a while, and 200 was the minimum that I can go and get a price break. And just as you stated, I didn't get any results. I didn't get any calls.
Yeah,
you know what? I guess to me, I guess if you would have told me before you even revamped my letter that don't do it, like, to me, the letter was so good. I'm thinking, how could it not generate a response? So that's why I pulled the trigger to see if I'd get it. Now, I haven't mailed again, and I'm hesitant to ask you for help with the second mailing, but I did not get any hits off.
No, I want to help you with all your mailings. Okay. It's like,
yeah, but I understand that this is not part of your
when
playbook.
But when you write a letter and say, I have this new strategy, I'm not going to do this other strategies, I'm going to do this new strategy. One of my strategies is to create campaigns to a center of influence, like financial planners or something.
Right.
But it's a relationship building campaign.
Right.
Okay. It's something. It's not going to get you immediate deals, and that's what you want. You want immediate deals. It's not going to do that. And the list is so small. It's going to take time. So that list, that's going to work, but you're going to have to spend $1,500 on it, right? You know, at least before, but you also have to do it full blown. Okay, it's a small list, right?
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to pull them off the list. You want to use, this is what I would do. I would put these $100 bills attached.
Is that a real $100 bill?
Of course not.
Wow.
So I have this $100 bill letter. You want to grab their attention. So, okay, so you mailed that to my other address, so I just got a scan of it, but you didn't put anything else in there with that letter, right?
No, because we didn't really talk about that. I mean, we didn't have anything to put in there.
I say whenever you do a letter mailing, fill up the envelope with credibility stuff.
Right.
Do you have a credibility kit?
No, I do not.
Okay. So what we want to do for you, John, is take my Roop, Roop my Roop website copy, that stuff. Well, I'll have this done for you by October. It'll be like a kind of a new free special report. Okay, but it's basically taking the Roop website copy and putting it into a report for buyers, sellers, and investors. Okay.
Yeah. I can't hear you right now. Nope.
You're muted somehow.
I can hear.
Yeah, no, my headphone went out. We've been going that long. Sorry about that. You can hear me now though, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you want to go ahead and put together information about you and your company, okay? Right. At least yourself, right? But and then add that to the end of the report, but yeah, that would be just at least do that, right? But here's the deal. That report is good for a mailing like that, but that mailing is not to get them to sell their house. That mailing is to have their clients who, look, you have 200 financial planners, and then you're asking them, do you have any people that want to sell their house? And if they want to sell their house, are they concerned about capital gains tax?
Right.
And if that's the case, why don't you send them to me, and I might be able to help them with an installment sale.
Right.
That's the chance of that working out on the first mailing is almost impossible. Okay, so it would be you would actually want to have a much more powerful way to get them to raise their hand, right? Bribe them, but I don't think you have to reinvent the wheel though.
No, and you're right. So that's a lesson that I learned. It cost me $250, which is not a terrible expense.
Yes, I know, but your time, you got to value your time, John.
And so in the meantime, what I did after that is I put together a list of 2,100 free and clear houses in the Idaho Falls area that I'm mailing to through iNet USA.
Okay, so Magic Bullet postcard.
Right. And they're doing it for me. They got the Magic Bullet postcard. I'm working with Alyssa. That should be hitting in the next couple of days or so. It's going to, an Idaho number. And then I'll just start working your game plan again.
Okay. So the Idaho number, what happens when they call your Idaho number?
If I'm available, I'll take the call. If not, they'll leave a message. Okay.
So it'll just be your normal voicemail.
Well, yes, to that number, correct.
I mean, it's not going to be like an advertisement.
No, it's not. It's not a recorded message. So basically, I pick up when my voicemail says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I couldn't take your call. I'll call you right back."
Okay. Are you advertising the name of your company on the postcard?
Yes. So name of the company, my website, my email address, my phone number, free special report.
Okay, so is this phone number that they call, is it only for sellers to call that want to sell their house?
Yes, and it's only for the postcard. It's only for my direct mail campaign. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay, well, you can have, okay, so you can also have multiple numbers that, like, okay, what happens with mine, John? If I'm using a virtual number, my phone will ring, my cell phone.
Right.
And it'll tell me the number that's dialing in, which is, I know what, it's a seller from that area code.
Right. Yeah.
So I can decide to answer the phone.
Right.
Or if I don't, it will go to, well, it depends. If you just forward it to my phone, they'll get my regular voicemail that's on this phone. Okay. I'm trying to think, because I have a free, I have my voicemail through the system, through iNet with the phone number, with the virtual number.
Right.
So if on that voicemail, I would, what's the name of your company, John?
East Idaho Home Buyers.
Yeah, I would say, hey, this is John with East Idaho Home Buyers. I'm sorry I missed your call, right? So you could just say your name, or you could say your name and your company, so they,
Okay.
and then, yeah, just tell them, leave your name and let me know why you're calling, and I'll call you back as soon as
Right.
possible.
And that's what I have set up right now.
Okay, now on your postcard, there's no free recorded message line, right?
No,
Just a
but I
website.
did point them to the free recorded report on my website.
Okay,
The free report.
all right, okay. Now, have you done that before on any other previous Magic Bullet postcards?
I think I have, yes. Yes.
Okay, can you track the number of people that hit your website after a mail?
I believe I can, because it's through GoDaddy. It's a paid site. I think I have the ability to check the analytics. So do you want to know how many people go to the website or how many people access the report?
Yeah, well, it'll show you what pages they're hitting, right?
Okay.
It should, right?
Right.
But yeah, I would take a look at your reports. Get familiar with those reports with GoDaddy from the past on your website. Take a look. All right, and now and then see if it'd be useful to track the number of hits you get from your postcard, because they can either call you, right? And you can track that, right? Or they can go to your website, right?
Right.
And then you can track that. Now, what I'm going to be doing in October is I'm going to show you how to, retarget them. If someone goes to, if they hit your website during your postcard mail campaign, you can kind of get an idea, if you don't have a lot of other lead sources, right, that it came from that, right? But what we can do is when they go to your website, we can capture their IP address.
Oh.
We can do a reverse IP and get a bunch of data on that person. We can get their phone number, we can get their mailing address. We can take, once we have their email, we can match them on social media. There's all kinds of things we can do. See, that lead that actually went to your your website and didn't opt in, didn't call you, is better than a just cold lead, right?
Oh.
So if we can automatically follow up on them, that's what you want to be doing, and we can. Okay. So going forward, I'm showing a lot, and we want to give people a lot of different reasons to go to your website. Right now, you have the report.
Right.
So they're going to your website to get the report or to check you out. Now, when they go there, can they check you out? Are you happy with what they see when they go to the website?
Yeah, it's not a gimmicky website. It's ibuyorleasehouses.com, and it's not the typical fill in the form. It has a lot of the presentation and print pages that we put together. It does have an about page. I think it's pretty professional looking, and it gives them the ability to still submit their information.
Okay. And then when they go there, does it make it very easy for them to pick up the phone and call you when they're on the website?
Yes, my information is I believe my information is readily there. I'll verify that, but based on everything I remember of it, yes.
Yeah, when people go to your website, they want to be encouraged to pick up the phone and call you, right? Or, contact you online, right? Submit a form. But ideally, the form would be, yeah, I'm interested in talking or learning more or whatever. So you got a contact form and you got a web submission form, right? Or a property submission. So what I like to do is combine those so that, if you're interested, get a hold of us, right? And they start filling out this form, we get their contact information. And then on the second part of it, it's like, all right, so if you're ready, if you want, go ahead and give us this rest of this information. But your website should encourage them to, take an action, get a hold of you, basically get a hold of you. That's the call to action. Call or fill out a form. All right, and then on the postcard, okay, so you got 2,100 postcards dropping.
Well, I have 2,100 divided. I'm dividing it over 4 periods. I'm doing about 5,100 or 500. 500 every 2 weeks, just to keep my cost.
Yeah. Okay,
so
so
then
you're
basically
stretching out your costs. Yeah, you're stretching out your costs, but you're spending what, $1,100 over a couple months?
Yeah.
Okay. In order to get that $1,100 out, yeah, it's going to take 2 or 3 months just to get it out. So.
Well, it will take a month for me to get, actually every 2 weeks. So it'll take approximately 2 months to get everything out. And then I'm going to go back to the original list once I clean it up and mail them a second time. So the first grouping of people should get a second mailing within 2 months. Is that too long?
No. Well, do they have do you know if they have a house for sale?
No, but they're 20 plus year. In Idaho, it's hard to get the free and clear houses, so you have to go with 20 plus years of a sale date. So
okay. Are they owner occupied or absentee?
Absentee owner.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. And there's no indication that they're interested in selling the property.
You're right.
Okay. So what is my frequency formula? You should know this, John. What is my frequency formula for that type of list?
I want to say every couple of weeks.
No, no, that would be for someone who we do know they have a house for sale.
Then it's every couple of months, right?
Yeah, it's like every 3 or 4 months.
Okay. And that's what it will be. So basically it'll be between 2 to 3 months that the first group will get a second postcard.
Okay, but I just told you that's a little.
Oh, that's too soon?
You're spending, look, okay. I'm giving you the best practices and you're messing with them. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying that you're hitting them too soon. Okay. So you're not, it's better to go to somebody else if you want to spend money that month, right? Go to a different place. Yeah. But if you have no idea if they have a house for sale or not, but you're targeting certain criteria, okay, unless it's a very, very narrow list, right? Very, a lot of good motivation criteria or something. That's just a drip list. Your drip list, so there's a rapid drip and there's a drip. So you want to drip them every 3 or 4 months. Okay. So I like, 4 times a year. So absentee owners that meet my criteria in my zip code, if you got a decent response,
right,
on the first hit, but guess what? You're not going to know if you have a decent response until you've dripped it out over a couple months. Right. Okay. So I wouldn't even remail to them until you've launched the entire 2100. Okay. And that's only half of, that's about, half, that's about half of, what you might want to spend in order to, make 50 grand, right, on a deal. So, but you can gauge if it's working or right?
Right.
But it's and since let's say, okay, you want to spend between 1,500 and 2,500 to do a deal, right? So it's 2,000. So we're spending about 1,000, right? And then you want to hit them a second time, another 1,000. So that marketing budget, you've basically stretched that. It's taken like 6 months to get it out, right? Which is fine, but it's not going to get you a deal next month, or it might. See, you can always get lucky. Now, we could. Now, John, here's what we can do: is, well, we should use my omni-channel marketing system on this list.
And what is that?
Well, what we do is we skip trace. We take the list. Here's what we do: we take your list, and I run it through one of my services, and we append the data. Okay, and we actually get their so we have the mailing address, so we can get their phone, their email, and their social media. Okay, if we don't, and we can get their social media with their email. Okay, so and yeah, we can get their, and we can get their phone and that type of thing. So we can append the data. But what we want to do is, if you have a big enough list, see, a small list, it might be hard to do, is you can actually do a Facebook campaign to your mailing list before it drops. Okay, so it's a custom audience, right? It's very cost effective, but you have to have a certain amount of numbers for it to work. I'm testing all this, so I'd love to test it with you as well.
Now, so I get I subscribe to FreedomSoft. I got my list through them. I can skip trace those leads, and I can get their phone numbers and email addresses. They don't provide social media.
Right. I know it's very easy to skip trace data. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. But yeah, what I'm talking about is you do a reverse IP append. So you take, so we can actually run them through a database. We might be able to get their IP address.
Right.
Okay. Well, actually, what we do with IP addresses, we take the IP addresses, we get the rest of their data.
Right.
Okay. But if we skip trace them, see, if we get their email or their social media, there's a lot of moving parts in this. That's why I want to be taking some of my clients like you and actually, applying this to your campaigns, so I can work out all the kinks and know the limitations and that type of thing. But I have the services that people don't know about. Okay. But we can run them through a database, and there's a couple things. We can target them with ads online and through a Facebook campaign. Then the mail hits, right?
Right.
What we can take that mailing list and we can send it over to Informed Delivery. Have you checked out Informed Delivery?
I have not.
So for free, you can have a color display, clickable display ad in the email for everybody that's getting your postcard that's signed up for Informed Delivery, right? And what you do is you take your list and you send it off to, and I'm trying to, help. iNet's been checking out how to do this. They're not doing it yet. I'm putting together the services to do it, because what you need all the components of the campaign. You need the ad, right? And then the ad's going to go to a certain page on your website. Okay. Right. But it's going to be related. Well, it's going to be related to your Magic Book postcard. So whatever, it's going to be the same landing page. Okay. But you send the list to Informed Delivery, and they'll email anybody that is on your list that is signed up for Informed Delivery. They'll get your ad emailed to them by the post office. and those emails get a 60% open rate.
Wow.
And what they're doing is they're getting an email of all the mail that they're receiving that day in a grayscale scan, and your ad's right at the top in full color. And
Well, I get that service at my house now. I've just never thought about somehow using that, and I like the service.
okay, good. Well, let's go ahead and do it. We just need to go ahead and give them the marketing assets. Okay, and I'll do it. I'll put them together for you, John.
Now I'm looking at a copy of today's informed delivery. I don't see, I mean, either there's nobody advertising, but I'm not seeing any advertising at the top other than.
No, nobody's doing it.
Wow.
It's a huge, it's a huge opportunity once it's put together.
Right.
It's done. Every time you do a mailing, you just send a copy of your mailing list to the post office. Once it's all set up, right? So I'll be. When are you going to drop your mail?
I think it's already dropped. I'm waiting to receive my postcard.
Okay. So and then your cards hit, right? And then you can target people if they go to your website, right? They go to your website. Now you can retarget them with pay-per-click ads.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, a lot of people aren't doing this. What's important is we want to do your postcard, just your direct mail on its own, the best it can. Right. First, and then we can add all these bells and whistles, and it's super powerful. So last time we talked, you were still targeting hot areas to mail to. Did you go to the more rural areas on this particular list, or how did you select your zip codes?
Yeah, so I'm still marketing to the Idaho Falls, Blackfoot, and Pocatello, but I'm also doing the outskirts of those 3 communities. So basically, I'm just pulling houses that fit the criteria that I entered. So that, the 20 plus years, the 2+ bedrooms, the square footage of 1,000.
Why?
So right.
Okay. Why 2+ bedrooms?
Because I was getting a lot of crap, houses like that I had no interest. I mean, they were just real small 700 square foot homes that and there's a lot, for whatever reason, there's a lot of those out in Idaho that I wanted to get a more specialized list.
Well, were they vacant?
Some of them were vacant, some of them were rented, with one person.
Well, I mean, is it hard to find someone who wants to live in one of those small houses?
Well, I mean, I'm going to assume that the answer is no. I mean, I just always been told that you buy houses where people want to live. I don't think there's a lot of people that want 1 bedroom, 1 bath homes and that are 100 years old.
Yeah. Well, the question, that's why I asked if they're vacant.
No, some of them have people in them.
Okay. So the question is, all right. So the number one criteria when you buy a house, John, is what kind of income can it produce?
Right.
That's it. That's all I care. I don't care what it's worth. What kind of income can it produce? I used to buy these Cracker Jack 640 square foot cabins. They were built with a kit in the mountains and stuff. And they were selling like $45,000, right? For these little small houses that I wouldn't want to live in unless my life changed, right? Well, there's a lot of people that want a small little house, especially today, or they want something that's affordable. So I bought so many single wide mobile homes and cabins and stuff like that because there's a demand for it. It's called affordable housing. Okay. Now, if it's 100 years old, then I mean, I've bought some weird properties. I bought one property for $8,000 because it's worth 30. I bought it for 8, private money. It's a single wide mobile with some additions onto it, and it was old. And the reason why the guy, actually a buddy of mine, wanted to sell it is he hated the maintenance, right? All this crappy maintenance. Well, guess who was renting the property? The guy who did the maintenance for the local school district. So I bought it for like $8,000. Probably borrowed 15, right? Put some money in my pocket, right? And then I sold it to the tenant, and I used his $500 security deposit as his purchase deposit to sell it with owner financing, or maybe it was a rent to own. I think it was a rent to own, and then later we did owner financing, or maybe I just sold it with owner financing or something like that. And he took response. Now he was willing to fix, either as a tenant buyer, right? He's buying it, or as a wraparound buyer, contract buyer. They understand they're gonna take care of the house. They want to take care of the house. It's their house, right? So I eliminated. So on these so I'll buy anything as long as there's a demand for it, right? I know what the income is, and I buy it right. Okay. So the first criteria on your decision tree there, John, is would you buy the house if someone just gave it to you? Well, would you take it? Would you want to own that property if someone just deeded it?
I guess.
See? Then if you're not sure, then you definitely don't want to target those houses, right?
Right.
But what
you would have to be, I think that's kind of a loaded question. You'd have to be a moron not to take a free house.
Well, no, but it depends. Like,
so that's a tough question. I mean, because there's only one answer to that question and the question is yes. I can't imagine anybody would say no to a free house.
Well, no, because it might be, it's just what I just told you. You have to be there has to be a demand for it, right? And you have to know what the income is, right? So what do you think is the value of some of these crappy properties you got that were like 100 years old and 700 square feet? $100,000. $100,000. Okay. And any idea what they might rent for?
Probably $500, $600, $700 a month, maybe around there. I'd have to look around there. Right. Under $1,000 for sure. Right.
So would you pay $100,000 to the seller? If that's the market value, right? If you just paid them $100 a month until paid.
Sure.
See, so that's kind of high priced for only getting $500 or $700 rent, right?
Right.
But you just run it through the UPG, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why I say, why did you target 2 bedrooms is because you're gonna be able to. Do you think people with a 1-bedroom house have a trouble selling when they go to sell? Do you think they'll be more flexible on price and terms if someone wants to sell a house that is less desirable, like these mobile homes and cabins I was talking about?
I would say. So to answer your first question, do people have a 1-bedroom house have a hard time selling? Yes. Are they more motivated? Yes. So to me, what I think is now that becomes my problem. Like if they're having a hard time selling, why am I not going to have a hard time selling it?
Because you bought it right.
Oh, right.
Again, you have to research what would you do with those houses.
Right.
You have to know your exit.
Right.
Because if you're uncertain about your exit, what do? Your price comes down,
right,
down to $8,000.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you're busy with better leads, that's where you want to do. You want to narrow it down, and that's important. So if you got a big list and you got to narrow it down some way, yeah, let's go ahead and narrow it down by bathrooms, right? However, what I'm saying is if you like that area, if you're farming certain areas, you like those zip codes, and your mail's working, then I would also consider hitting some crappy properties, as long as they're not really crappy to you, because you know how to make money on it.
Right.
See, I buy a lot of crappy properties because I know what I can do with them.
Right.
And I'm, and most sellers don't know, they'll just have to, try and it'll go vacant, or they'll list it with an agent, sell it real cheap, right? So for example, financing properties that are hard to finance. That's another thing. Like again, mobile homes and stuff like that, especially older ones. There's no financing, so people have trouble selling. But I'd look at that. I'd look at it as affordable housing, or also, as an opportunity. But you don't have to go there. You can go ahead and focus in on these other criteria. But if you're going where it's a hot market and sellers don't have much trouble, your response is going to be less. You're going to have to spend more faster in order to get deals. Just as long as you realize you spend $2,000 to get a deal, and you stretch that out over 6 months, it's going to take you 6 months to run the whole campaign to get that one deal, and you don't know if it's going to come from the beginning or the end, right? So something to consider. That's why if we can narrow down the list, we can actually spend more money, hit them more often, with these multiple channels, right? So we have a smaller list, but we hit them multiple times, not over 6 months, but in 1 month.
Sure.
So fun stuff. Do you have any questions about the mailing that just went out?
No, I mean, I think the reason I broke it into 4 is it wasn't really even about the money aspect. I was just, I tend to, if there's too much stuff coming in, some of that stuff falls through the cracks. So I wanted to make sure that I had the ability to handle.
Okay, so I just want you to remember all the previous discussions we had about your lead handling, right?
Right.
And I think not only do you want to handle these leads as they come in, right?
Right.
But go ahead and take another look at maybe some of the leads you can follow up on. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Have you ever used a virtual assistant to do your leads? I know that some investors, the calls go into VAs.
You're sabotaging yourself, John.
Okay.
What it is, it's fear.
Right.
Okay. Did you go through the Fearless Investor?
I have not yet, but I did get access to it.
Everybody needs that, John. Even me. Okay. Go through that. All right. I want you to identify whatever, it may not be fear, right? But whatever's not working, right? Whatever's holding you back. If you're not doing something that you should be doing, or if you're sabotaging yourself, whatever, we just okay, let's call it fear. Well, I'll help you identify what kind of fear you might want to call it, and I show you how to knock it out. Okay. And then there's 2 audios with Willie Hooks that even go deeper into that, right? But so I did an update on the Fearless Investor. Check that out. Everybody check that out. Go to Repodia.com. And it's right there on the front page right now, where you get the replay of the Fearless Investor. Now, so when you tell me, John, and I appreciate you doing this publicly and everything, okay?
I don't know how I got involved. I had my screen off and I was muted.
Because I want to help you, and you didn't have to volunteer, right?
No, I know.
So you're reaching out, and I appreciate that, John. So John, when you want to hire a VA to handle the most important calls that you're trying to generate, that you should be taking, that you want to take,
right?
that's an indication of some fear, right?
Right.
Now, you don't need a BA. You need to take these calls.
Okay.
You need to return the calls. And when you call them back, and then if they don't answer, you got to call them back. And if they don't return your voice messages, then you got to email them and say, hey, I don't think I got the right number. I left you 2 messages. I didn't hear back from you. Are you out of town? Are you in the hospital? You got COVID? What happened? Right? And then you send them a text, and then you send them some mail. And so you assume that anybody doesn't respond, they're in the hospital.
Okay.
That's my approach. It's not that they're rejecting me, right? It's not that they lost interest. But so, and keep your eye on the target. Okay. Let's get you set up with a goal that you're committed to, that is realistic and doable. I think you've done enough. You have enough where if you really worked on it, we can talk about this privately. But what kind of goals could we knock out in 30 days?
I'd love to have a house under contract in 30 days.
Okay, why don't you take a look at your resources, which means your time, what you already got going, like this mailing, plus your other leads, right? And any offers that you've made and got rejected, right? All that stuff. Take a look at your resources, and let's come up with a plan on how to do that within 30 days.
Okay.
And of course, Mark can help you with that too, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But take a look at your resources and come up with the game plan and share it with me and Mark. Okay.
Okay.
And let's get it. Let's. Now, how would that look? How would that feel if you did that?
Oh, it'd feel awesome. I mean, because I've been working, trying to get this to work for the last 6 months.
But you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
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 You really do. I mean, if you again, the definition of do you know what my definition of a goal is as far as commitment?
No.
It's you got to be 100% committed. Right. So don't set a 30-day goal if you're not 100% committed to making that happen.
Right.
Like, okay, what about 60 days? What about 90 days? Yeah, I'll commit to making that happen in 90 days, right? Then use 90 days.
Right.
But don't use 30 days and know you're going to sabotage yourself, or know you're going to goof off, or it's not important to you.
Right.
See, you got to since you're kind of comfortable, right? You got to somehow have either something that moves away, right? Or something you're moving toward. And so maybe you can come up with something that would really excite you to hit this goal. And it could be 60 days, right?
Right.
Or 30 days. You decide. But set an exciting goal for that date, but commit to it.
Right.
And define it. What is the definition, right? What's the definition of closing a deal? How does that look, right? And then you can get really specific on what's the ideal situation, and then you let go of the form and you allow anything that comes up. Right. But here's what happens, John. Once you set that goal, the things will come up that you have to notice and take action on.
Right.
And I know you can, if you take action on those things as they come up, you have the resources, you have the help, you have the ability. You got to push through whatever's holding you back.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and start with the fearless investor, which I think that, again, it would be helpful for anybody. In fact, I'm going to re-listen to it tonight.
All right, cool.
All right, John. Thank you,
Thanks,
buddy.
Richard.
All right. Okay, I guess we're about done here. Anybody else have any questions before we go? Go ahead and unmute yourself and announce your name. Anybody else? All right, I appreciate it, guys. I invite you to join me for, oh, what is this? Okay, I had another screen going there. All right, let's see here. What do we got on screen? Oh, well, I guess I don't have any windows open. I don't have any browsers open. So go to, go to ultimatedealflow.com or Repodia.com and check out, see if whatever you can to get to Florida next month and join our marketing event. We'll see if we can do a virtual component of it. I know a lot of people don't want to travel and stuff like that. So it's actually going to be a very intimate group. It's a great opportunity because not as many people are going as I expected. So we're going to have a great time. I've already committed to a bunch of catering, so I'm going to feed you guys like crazy. I've already bought the food. I've already reserved all the rooms. So, but let's, but my next phase here is putting together the operations manual and putting all this cool stuff that we've been talking about today and we've talked about on other calls into this is exactly how you do it. So you can go off and do this omni-channel and all these new things that we haven't talked about. But yeah, the $100 bill letter campaigns, the 19-cent postcards that you can mail printed and postage to everybody in the neighborhood for 19 cents. I used to teach that like 20 years ago when it was like we could do it for like 13 cents. Well, now with discount zones, we can still do it for 19 cents. So how to give sellers multiple reasons to go to your website, and then we can capture their IP and do reverse IP append and hit them automatically after that. Again, I'll set up services, so we'll do this for you. How to make an offer in 18 seconds in a Facebook ad. All right, run an ad. So get an offer on your house in 18 seconds. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. Other Facebook ads that don't even mention that you buy houses, but get a tremendous response because you're offering the benefits that a seller would want, but they're a little leery about contacting an investor, right? And again, get them to respond, capture their information, automatically turn them into a deal. Some really
Richard?
killer list campaigns, yeah.
Can those be, I mean, when I think of Facebook, I think of very generic. You're saying that they can be specific to an area? So can I target Facebook ads in Idaho Falls, for instance? Or am I getting phone calls?
You have a mailing list of people that you have a mailing, okay. You have a mailing list of people in Idaho that you're mailing to, right?
Right.
You can target them.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So yes, you can target, you can't target by zip code, you can target by city,
So
or actually
I'm actually targeting.
mile.
It's not Facebook that's doing the targeting. I'm generating the list that Facebook will target if I give them the list. I gotcha. Because I'm thinking Facebook, I don't want to place an ad that some guy from the East Coast is going to call me. I want to get called on my market, right?
That's how other people get results on Facebook, is they have to go wide.
Okay.
Looks like I have a bad connection here. No, I don't want you to have wasted. So some people are buying houses throughout the nation,
right,
from Facebook ads, because that's the only way they can make their Facebook ads work.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I got kicked off again. Yeah, some people go nationwide with their Facebook ads, because it's a lot easier to make Facebook ads work if you do that. It also takes time to get your Facebook ads working well. It's not the number one best way. The number one best way is to get your direct mail working better. Okay, that's the number one best way. But Facebook ads work if you do it right.
Right.
Okay. Now, as far as locally, what you can do is you can target. It's a special audience. Housing is a special audience, but you can do 15 miles around an address.
Oh.
So you can target 15 miles around an address, but you can also create a custom audience from your list that you provide them.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at doing. Now how do you do that? Well, it also is helpful if you have their phone number and their email, right? And their mailing name and their mailing address, and provide all of that. So Facebook can match up that audience.
Right.
So that's useful. Okay. There's also social media matching, where there are databases where you can you can run your, and I have a company that does this, where you run through your data through them, and they match, they come up with social media profiles or something like that. Something like that. I'll have to figure that out. It's called social media match. So we hit them in social before the mail hits, hit them in their email box with informed delivery, the mail hits, then what do you do with phone numbers and texting? Well, what I like to do is say, hey, did you get the postcard that I sent you last week? All right. That would be an approach to your list, as opposed to just texting them cold and say, hey, I'm interested in maybe buying your house. Text me back, or whatever your approach is going to be. Most of your marketing, all that you're doing, is you're really trying to get them to respond. So as I create ads and postcards and text messaging and emails and websites and stuff, it's really, you want to get them to respond, because you're not going to buy their house through these platforms. You have to get them on your contact list, and you got to follow up, and you got to build their trust and rapport, and that's where you buy the houses. So all the people that are not doing all of that are working too hard. So you can do it on a smaller scale and just follow the best practices we've been teaching for decades, but you can also add all this new stuff that will give you a huge advantage. But a lot of the problems that people are saying, I'm doing this and it's not working, it's like, well, I've already told you that's not going to work. And if you're going to do that, do it this way. So you got to follow. Somehow I got to, I'm doing that with this boot camp. I'm putting together the operations manual. So now I'll have it all laid out, and I can just say, just go to page 53. It's all laid out there for you. Keeping people on track. That's another good thing about coaching or working with clients is we can identify, there's so much information to absorb and follow, and best practices to follow. If you can, until you've done it a few times, get that help along the way, right? So that, and then make sure that you're following the best practices going forward, and you're getting another set of eyes on your activities and results. All right. Anything else, guys? Well, thank you very much. And I'll get some info. If you're not on my newsletter, go to richardroop.com and jump on my get on my e-letter, or go to repodia.com and make sure you have a free account. Just get one of the free items there, like on the Fearless Investor. And that way I'll be able to communicate to you about Monday's event. Monday, every month we do an ultimate training webinar. This month we're opening it up because I got Willie Hooks, who's going to do something that I think everybody needs, kind of like this Fearless Investor. We're doing an inner game call to help a lot of people get unstuck and create more of a vision for the future, because a lot of people are they're just paralyzed. They're uncertain. They don't know what's happening. And I'm in that same boat. I mean, it's hard for me to look at the news and think that anybody, most people are just like, what, they're just not going to do much because they're, I don't know, confused. I don't know. That's why goals are so important. My goal next year is when I had a lawsuit back in 2014, and I lost 58 properties, right? Well, next year I want to buy 58 properties. My goal next year is use these systems I'm putting together and get some, maybe some joint venture partners, because I don't want to do everything myself per se. I like to do what I'm best at, and I'm doing a lot of things. But in order to do everything that I'm doing, plus buy 58 properties, I'm going to collaborate a little bit. But I'm also going to systemize, automate, and outsource, which is what I recommend everybody do. Okay. How do you buy 58 properties? Well, some people say, well, that's a lot of work. And what's the definition of buying a property? What makes it a deal? Well, buy and hold for income. So a property that holds its own or has positive cash flow, and that has some equity up front or some really good cash flow up front, and a lot is self-funding. So I have no money into the deal, okay, and they hold their own, and I'm well protected. I'm not relying on appreciation, okay. I have a long-term plan. I have low interest or no interest rate, long-term financing on these income properties. I want 58 of those by the end of 2022. And what else is the definition of I think I'm trying to think of my goal, my vision on that. And I don't mind buying virtually across the nation, but why do that when I can target? There's 4 markets I can target right where, within 90 minutes of where I live, right? But if I have partners that can be my feet on the street across the nation, then I'm happy to go across the nation. But if I'm going outside of my area, I'm going to go to places with I can dominate where I don't have a bunch of competition. I'm not fighting the market. I'm not fighting unmotivated sellers or a bunch of other investors or a hot market, that type of thing. That's going to change. It's going to be, but we saw this before the last crash. Prices, when they got crazy, they went on for a couple more years before things changed, right? And we're in a position where we can buy properties. It doesn't matter what's going on in the market, whether it's up or down. But even with the low inventory and maybe some, when you have low inventory, it's easy for someone who wants to sell. But guess what? Some of these people that want to sell, they can't buy another house or they can't rent another house. So they're not selling. So these are some of the things we're going to talk about on day 3 of the boot camp in October. These opportunities that will help dictate what direction you go with your market selection or your investing strategy, or how how important is it to really jump on this now? There's always going to be opportunity, but now is the opportunity to really set you up, I think, for life. Again, next year, my goal, 58 properties, $6 million worth of properties by the end of next year, that all hold their own. I have no money into them. It's, again, my retirement plan and my freedom. That's another thing. People are losing their freedoms. How do you get your freedoms back? This is the crazy world that we live in. Our freedoms are being taken away. How do you get those back? Or how do you protect them? Okay. Number one is you have to exercise your freedoms. You got to realize when people are taking them away from you, and they shouldn't have that ability. You should do whatever you can to protect yourself, your freedoms. One way to be more free is not being reliant on the government, not being reliant on a job, not being reliant on the market. Okay. set things up, and real estate is just creative real estate entrepreneurship is the one area that you can pivot no matter what's going on. You can change your direction or your focus no matter what's going on in the market. As long as your focus is on how do I help these sellers, or how do I help these buyers, or how do I help these investors, as long as your focus is on helping people, people are always going to have challenges and you're always going to get paid. And the more people you can help, the more you'll get paid. Okay. So I was talking about buying locally. That's my preference, but I'm even 90 minutes away. I'd rather have a partner over there, you know, being my feet on the street versus having to drive there once a week or something like myself. But of course, I could hire an acquisitions person. I'm just, I would just have a virtual acquisitions person there. That's the in the meantime, before I build my team, I'll just do it all myself. And that's what you guys should be doing. Before you try to scale your business, work your business, get your business working, know what you need to get off your plate, and so you know how to get, you know, teach someone else how to do it. Okay. And what is your high level activities? Your high level activities are talking to sellers with gobs of equity. Okay, making offers and following up with them. That's it. Talking with sellers, making offers. That's it. Everything should go get you to talking with sellers, making offers, negotiating those deals. If you buy right, selling is easy. And if you need more skills, strategies, techniques for selling and occupying houses quickly, I'm going to cover from a marketing standpoint. I'm going to cover that at the boot camp. There's other strategies that will help you that are in some of my courses, and then I'll probably do some type of virtual, you know, event next year on, you know, investing strategy. You know, I have a lot of resources on that, and we provide, you know, kind of, you know, mentorship or coaching on that. But a lot of it's already published in my systems. So, and a lot of the updating I do to my systems, the content I do on these ultimate training webinars each month. But we've decided that the one Monday is, it's like what's going to make the biggest difference for people who don't have the self-drive or self-motivation to take more action just because they're just floundering, or they don't have focus, or they don't have any goals, or they're just, you know, fearful or uncertain, or that type of thing. So I've asked Willie to give that some thought. That's why I haven't announced the title, because I don't know what to call it yet, because Mark and Willie are actually working on the outline, and then we'll go over it together. I'll come up with the title and we'll present it together. But it's Willie. If you never experienced Willie Hooks before, he's one of my mentors. He's taught me so much. Again, we call him Yoda. And I do have a coach, a mindful CEO coach, and that's helpful, but that's not technique. That's not outer game. That's not how to, you know, do sales, do marketing, do investing. It's more of how to tap into my own personal resources, mental wise, to take my effectiveness and results to the next level. And we've always focused on doing that for investors, but it's hard to tell people how that relates to making millions and millions of dollars. Okay. But it does, right? It's like, but I need to know how to get my mail out, and who to target, and what to say, and how to handle the phone call. Yes, you need all that, but that's about 20% of what you need. 80% you need to be having the right mental mindset. So that's what we're going to do on Monday. All right. Hey, Will.
Richard, one thing I'm hearing, I'm sure other people have heard the same thing. The market's going to change. Right. I heard like there's going to be a drastic drop in price.
I didn't say
Uh,
that.
No, I know you didn't say that. I'm not accusing you. But I've heard 70% drop in price. And like, I'm like, what? I mean, I just think it's
No,
unrealistic.
who's,
I
no,
forget
I
who
don't agree.
said that.
I don't agree with that. Nobody, in fact, number one, nobody knows. Okay. Last time we had a crash in the sand states, Nevada, California, Arizona, Florida, right?
Right.
The sand states, 50%
Oh,
drop
uh,
because it was a housing bubble. And there was the writing was on the wall. There were indications of it. We started like sounding the alarm in the fall of 2007 because you could see it coming apart, right?
right.
So it's like you have to pivot, right? So as far as no, there's always going to be a demand for housing. In fact, we have a shortage of housing right now. I mean, but how for they just ended I just saw the news where they're going to now all these people are going to be evicted out of their houses because the moratorium has been lifted.
Right.
But is that going to happen? You don't know. I mean, some landlords would rather have someone in there paying the utilities and keeping the heat on and or whatever than to kick them out because number one, they don't want to kick them out. Number two, maybe they're in a position where they can wait. But a lot of here's the deal. A lot of landlords can't wait. They can't handle that. They can't have a property with no income. So we can go in there and we can solve that problem, make a ton of money and protect ourselves from that situation. Most property owners and sellers, they just don't know how we solve all these different issues. So the question is, what's the issue? With prices going down? So what if prices went down? Does that mean people aren't going to be living in houses? Are they going to be homeless? I mean, are they going to buy cheaper houses? What does that mean? What did it mean last time? What it meant last time is a lot of people were over leveraged. They were underwater, right? Foreclosures, right? Remember that?
Yes.
So
That's what it seems
okay. Well,
like.
That right now I just saw a report from number one. I saw a report from the Central Bank of St. Louis or whatever. Right now, housing prices on the Case-Shiller index is at a record high. It just went past the last bubble. Okay, record high prices. Okay, prices. While business incomes and personal incomes are down. Okay. Now the other thing is because of the pandemic and lockdowns and all that stuff, which will continue and get worse on that side. All right. That's why again you got to exercise your freedoms while you got it, and don't ever let fear dictate your decisions. Just get information, make proper decisions. Okay. So the other report I saw is we are now household debt in the United States is now at a record high because people were going out and buying houses, right? Or I don't know, it's basically from mortgages. Okay. So now we're at record high debt. Well, as real estate investors, we can take on debt because all the debt we take on has income to pay the debt back. All this household debt does not have, the only income they have is their personal income, maybe some investment income, right? But most of the debt people have today, like on their house, they're living in it, there is no income. Okay. Or they're relying on their personal income from their business or their job in order to pay the debt. That's going to change. People are going to get into trouble financially because they have too much debt, not enough income. they don't have any savings, or they spent it all. And it's not good. I'm not making judgment. I'm saying a lot of people have been hurt really bad. They had to live off their savings and stuff like that. Some people, of course, lived off of free money from the government. That's a trap. I never took any of that money, right? Because, but I don't have a problem with people who did. It's just you can't rely on that, and you've given up your control. You've given up your freedom. Okay, if that was the if you don't take the money, what you can do is you can go out and make the money because you need it, and you need to be in control of that, and you'll take different actions. And that's what I'm suggesting everybody do right now. Take the actions so you can set up a business of your own that is consistently generating leads and allowing you to talk to sellers and make offers and close on deals. Okay, so you're only going to buy houses from people that where they like you as the best option. Okay, they don't have to be super motivated. They like you, they trust you. They like all the benefits that you're offering, and it helps them. Okay, all right. I guess that's it. All right, so all right, so I guess I'm done there. I got kicked off one more time. I'm not kicking myself off. Meeting is now streaming. Probably went too long. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the soapbox. No, but it's not a slight. I mean, you're on target. I mean, that's exactly what people need to do.
Yeah, and we were talking about what happens. About the future, making future predictions. I've actually been very accurate over the years with my predictions in certain markets like real estate and stuff. Other things I haven't been so accurate. Like I was buying .com stocks right during the bubble, just like everybody else. So but as far as when you understand the psychology, it's better than. So marketing is all numbers and psychology. So predicting what's going on in markets, you can look at trends, you can extend the trend, you can look at the psychology, but you also need to look at the truth. The truth is most people have no clue what's going on because they listen to the news and they don't do any additional research. And I do a lot of research that is not mainstream news, and I do get like these reports, this housing report, this debt report. It just happened to be part of my research feed, and I do want to know what's going on in the minds of buyers, sellers, and renters. But I can tell you, people are going to be out of control. They're going to be hurting financially. Everybody needs a house over their head. So you, as a real estate entrepreneur, you can provide those solutions. If you don't know how, I can teach you how. Okay. But the solution for most sellers is buy their home. The solution for most buyers is give them a great opportunity. Okay. And renters, rent them a home, Now there's all the ins and outs and best practices of that. I would never rent to somebody with bad credit unless I got a bunch of money as a purchase deposit for them to buy it. Because if you put someone in a house that has bad credit, bad job history, and all that, and they don't pay, they have nothing to lose. Okay, so you got to have them something to lose. So, but if someone has good credit, they got good job history, and that type of thing, then they're more qualified. Then I can just rent a house to them as opposed to, getting a protection with money in my pocket. But I actually prefer to have money in my pocket in all cases because if you put yourself in a position where it's hard to lose, it's hard to lose. And since we can be in the lion's share seat where we get to pick who we target and who we deal with. And just like earlier, I was telling John, you know, hey, if you're busy dealing with these sellers that meet your criteria, then don't expand your criteria to these junky properties that nobody's buying or no one wants to buy, but people want to live in and pay rent on. And then you have like, there's like no competition to go in there and just clean up, as long as you know your exit, right? As long as you know what kind of income, how long it takes to occupy, what it takes to maintain. You can just run the numbers through the ultimate profit generator and determine what you should pay based on the income, based on the cost, based on your how much money you want to make on that deal. I think as a real estate entrepreneur, you should be making at least targeting at least $50,000 per deal that you actually, you know, take ownership of. But I have no problem with you flipping deals for cash, getting in and out. I don't think you should be doing fix and flips. I don't think you should be hiring contractors and remodeling houses. I think that's very risky right now. I wouldn't do it. But for you to get a deal and flip that to someone else and get in and out, I'm okay with that. But if you're focusing on just getting good deals that you can offer other people, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And I'd like to fix that, as opposed to making 5 or 10 or 15 grand. I'd rather have you make 50, 100, 150 grand, just solving the reasons why you didn't, you know, close on it in the first place. And a lot of times it's funding, or it's just, yeah, it's an opportunity for someone else, which is fine. So that's my 5x5 strategy. So in my course, 5x5 real estate profit system, it's all about how to make money on non-deals. A non-deal is something you don't want to buy. That's another opportunity with your marketing. If you get really good at marketing, you've got all these deals that you don't want to buy because they don't meet your criteria. Obviously, we're going to try and reduce that. So we're being very targeted, but you're always going to get some deals that aren't for you. And then, like, how can you just flip those to other investors and make money on that? So I'll just leave this. Again, go to richardroop.com or podia.com. You know, so you know what's going on as far as my next event Monday and my boot camp next month. But what I was going to say is, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I guess it's been a long call. It's going to leave you with a final thought. Well, we'll leave it as an open loop.
Watch the one about the $72,000, how to make 72,000 buying for top dollar.
Yeah, what about it?
That would be one of the things a person can do. You were going to leave us with a final thing to do.
Yeah.
You're talking about taking action and flipping properties to other people that don't work, don't fit your criteria.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, the final thought is, getting free leads, networking, network with other investors. And then everybody out there that has a very narrow definition of how, you know, or ability to make money on a deal, those people still want to sell their house, but they can't get an offer accepted, right? So get JV with those other investors, network with other investors, and turn their trash into cash. And then they make money off that. You could split it. You could give them a referral fee. You could work it out, whatever. But most of that is trash to them. And so that could be free leads for you. You get those leads, you work them, you do a deal, then you compensate your partner, right? And so networking is pretty much free. You can network online, just reach out, you know, Facebook, social media, find people that are generating leads as wholesalers or people that have a narrow model and partner up with them. But yeah, any type of free leads usually takes some work in order to set up that relationship, or, you know, it takes labor versus money. All right, thank you, everybody. I will leave you with that, and we will talk to you soon. So thanks for joining me today.
Great show. I mean, not show, but thanks a lot. Great training. And it was a show too. It wasn't.
I Yeah, it's kind of a show.
Yeah,
I'm
doing
just,
your thing.
I'm just doing my thing. But see, I can't do this for 3 days at a boot camp. I have to like follow
Be
an
focused.
agenda.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Although I have an agenda, but then we have like panels. We have what's working best now panels. We have expert panels. We have some interactivity. We have networking. So it goes for a great event. But to get the information out, I have to like this is open Q&A, right?
Right.
When I do a training, I gotta have a training outline and knock it out before I go off on too many tangents. All right. Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.